All right, so it is Monday, July 4th, and I thought I'd hop on here and give an update about my habit tracking for June. So I'm a little bit behind getting my new habit tracker in place, but I would say overall June was pretty good. So yeah, so if you want to see my previous videos, I think every month this year, I've made a habit tracker, and so I've just been kind of trying to build positive habits because 2021 was just a really rough year for me, I guess, and I decided I needed to make a change because I was just constantly like stressed and anxious, and I don't know if it's been the habit tracker specifically or if I've just been like making small changes over the past couple of years that have been helping me get in line, but I would say I'm finally starting to feel like I'm somewhat getting my life together. So I just want to talk about some of the habits I've been doing and kind of how things are going and what things have worked for me so far. So starting earlier this year, I set a goal to try to be up by 5 a.m. every day. And over the past few months, I've been doing pretty well at getting up early, but I feel like this month it really, really stuck with me. So pretty much every day, except for this one day, it was a Saturday. I slept in until about 7, but every other day I've finally been able to get up before 5 a.m. So that's working out really well. I used to consider myself a night person, and I thought my whole life that was just like the type of person that I am. I'm just not the type of person that gets up early, but if you feel that way, I am an example of someone who has changed that, and to be honest, I really, really love it. I love getting up early before anyone and having all this time in the morning just where the world just seems quiet and I can have just some time to myself. I've been going to the gym. I've been getting there, like I'll get up before 5, but I've been getting to the gym anywhere between generally like 5 and 6. Typically it's around 5:20, 5:30 whenever I leave for the gym. But I would like to start getting to the gym earlier, like waking up at 4:30 and then getting to the gym by 5. So that's something I want to try for this next month. But, in any case, I've been making progress getting up early every day. The other thing, this has kind of transitioned over the year because I started out with a number of steps that I wanted to hit. So I'm like, okay, I want to get 10,000 steps a day. And I was doing that pretty consistently last year. But to be honest, it was getting kind of stressful for me to try to hit that goal because walking for 1 hour would not get me to 10,000 steps. It would get me to about 6,500, 7,000 steps. And so I was having to like actively make myself get up and walk around more to get the 10,000 steps, which, that's fine, but I was just finding it too stressful to like meet that goal every day. So I just shifted to the goal of saying, look, I can spend an hour in the gym every day, however many steps I get, however, that's whatever I get. So I changed my step goal to just walking on the treadmill for 1 hour every morning. And I've really enjoyed that because it gets me up, gets me out of the house to the gym. So if I do want to build like a stronger gym routine, I'm already in the habit of getting up and going to the gym. And it's not hard for me to do that because I just know that I'm just going to walk. In my mind, I'm like, I'm just going to go there and walk on the treadmill. It's not going to be anything hard or too intense. And so, yeah, I've done that every single day. And then I have a little at-home workout. And I have a video where I showed my workout. The workout generally takes me about 15 minutes to do. And it's just like a pretty simple like lower body workout. I'll do 20 squats. I'll do 3 sets of 10 thrusters, and then I'll do a 1-minute plank, and then I've got like a little upper body workout that I do with just 5-pound weights. So again, this one pushes me a little bit harder than the walking, but it's also nothing that's so intense that even on my worst days that I'm feeling lazy, it's not that hard and it doesn't take that much time, so I can still convince myself to do it even on the days that I don't really feel like doing it, because I'm like, whatever, it's just 15 minutes, just get it over with. And so that's really helped me to have something easy, but something that I can stay consistent with. And so clearly I was able to do that every day, so I'm really happy about that. And then this journal slash moon, that's where I have this, let's see, I've got this kind of guided journal that just has like a writing prompt, like a quote, and then it has a writing prompt, and it just has this much to write. And so I really like this because I've been wanting to get into journaling for a long time, and just other types of journaling, it just never stuck with me because I felt like it was repetitive. I didn't really know what to write every day. And sometimes I felt like I would like overthink it, or I would, you know, it was just, but with this, what I've done to make, and I think what's helped me stay consistent, I'm actually shocked that I've stayed so consistent with this. But what I do is I have like a 15-minute just kind of like meditation music, and I'll put that on, and I will read the question, and I'll just start writing. And that's helped me kind of get over writer's block too. Because sometimes I'll see some of these questions and I'll be like, oh, I don't know how to answer that. And if I didn't set the time limit on myself, I would probably overthink it and take too much time, which I tend to do with a lot of my schoolwork. And so I think this has kind of helped me get over that writer's block that I have sometimes with like writing articles and school assignments and things like that, because it's just, I'm just like, I don't care what I write, nobody's reading this but me, so I'm just gonna write whatever comes to mind, whether it even fully relates to the question or whether it's something that kind of takes the question and goes off base. I said, just write whatever comes to your mind for 10 or 15 minutes, however long, to fill up the page, and then I stop. And so I've been enjoying that, and I'm proud of myself for being consistent with it. This is the first time I've been this consistent with something that I've started, so I feel pretty good about this. So I've done that pretty much every day except for one day, and that was a Tuesday, so I probably had a meeting with my boss at 8 and then didn't get to this in time and probably forgot to do it. But every other day I've been pretty consistent. What I normally do is I'll start with this, and then I have this, I've been wanting to get more connected with like the moon phases and stuff, so I got this moon diary, and it kind of like goes along with like the phases of the moon, and so it'll show like the moon phases. And then I've also, like, I've never gotten that into the astrology, so like if someone were to tell me their birthday, I'm not one of those people. Even now that I've looked into it a little bit more, I wasn't able to be like, oh, you're a Sagittarius. I still don't know that, but I'm trying to kind of just become familiar with it because a lot of people are. And so like I'll write down like what the sun sign is, just so I know. And then what sign like the different moon phases are in. They've got the symbols here, but I still don't know the symbols well enough, so I've been writing it out to kind of get myself more familiar with that. And then every day here, what I do is I write kind of like what I'm feeling that day. Am I feeling tired? Am I feeling anxious? Just kind of in the morning, how am I feeling on each day? Because I'm trying to get more of a grasp on how my moods and emotions and energy levels change throughout the month, just so I can kind of predict it, like for the future. If I see that there's like consistently, during this week of the month, I have more energy or things like that. I'm trying to like, I've noticed these phases in myself, but I haven't like locked down when they happen. So I'm using this to try to like figure it out. But again, this takes like 5 minutes. I'm just like, I was feeling tired this morning, or, whatever. I just kind of make note of it in here. So that's what this is. And then my big goal for June was to get on, like my big goal for like the last 3 years since I started my PhD program was to just get caught up with work and school and get in a good routine to where I'm not constantly like, Gabby, hey, to where I'm not constantly just like stressed and anxious about school and work and just like working up until the deadline. I want to be the type of person that has things done ahead of time and, you know, isn't just last minute on everything. So I'm trying, and this has like just kept changing throughout the last few months to try to find something that will work for me. You know, I've gotten this top part, waking up early and all this stuff, to work for me. And I think the waking up early has helped, especially since I started working from home and I don't have like a set time to clock in and all that stuff. Just getting up early and having this morning routine that sits me at my desk. Like I do the journaling at my desk. So I'm at my desk and I'm there. So when I'm done journaling, I can just kind of move right into work. And I think that's helped, because I used to have like another area at my house, like a little meditation area that I would do this in, and it just, things weren't flowing well. It didn't flow very well from that to me working into work. And so this is helping a lot. One thing for this month that I wanted to try was to start work by 8 a.m. And I did it on some of the days. On the days during the week that I didn't, I took note of when I started. And typically I started anywhere between 8 and 10 was typically when I started. And so I really, this month in July, I want to try to really start to work by 8 a.m. And part of that is going to be me getting to the gym a little bit earlier. So I have time to just kind of like relax and take my time through all of this other stuff, and then still have time to start work by 8. So that's going to be the big goal for July. Another goal that I had was to try to make sure that I work 8 hours every single day, because that's another thing that's been bothering me, because I wasn't really tracking how long I was working every day. And so if I didn't get like my work or school stuff done, I would just be mad at myself, because I would feel like, well, I just didn't work enough. But I feel like if I set a goal to keep track and actually make sure that I'm working 8 hours a day, whatever I don't get done after 8 hours, I'm just going to say, you know, I won't feel as guilty for not getting stuff done, because I'll know that I've put the time in to do it. And I did somewhat well with that. Some of these days I wasn't sure if I worked 8 hours, so I didn't mark them. But then by the end, I started marking like half. If I knew that I put in a substantial amount of time that day, but I wasn't sure if I'd gotten a full 8 hours, I just marked it as half. So, but I do want to try to hit the solid 8 hours next month. And the study for 1 hour, this was mostly with like, so when I go to walk at the gym, I normally try to bring some schoolwork with me. Before, I was like watching YouTube videos or scrolling through Instagram or TikTok while I was at the gym. But what has really helped me, I think, to do well this spring semester, because I had a class this spring, and I think it really helped. And I started doing this last fall for my class. I would bring the stuff I was supposed to read for class to the gym, and I would walk on the treadmill, and I would get the reading done while I was there. And that like really helped me to stay ahead of my classes, make sure I have all that stuff done. And my class for this summer started like somewhere over here. And so that's why I have so much done here, because I actually started my class, and then I've had stuff to read the whole time. So here I didn't, because I had like work stuff to do. Or actually, I think these days I just was not, like my brain was just fried, and I was like, I just want to relax. I don't feel like reading anything. And so yeah, there was a couple days I kind of took off of that just to give my brain a break. But yeah, that's something else I want to do. So my goal for July is to have all of these things blocked out. That was my goal for June, and it didn't, you know, clearly get all filled in. But I want to try to do it for July as much as I can. This other thing was making a to-do list when I'm done with work, so I have tasks already ready for the next day, so I'm not just kind of like floundering when I first get started, you know, what do I need to do? And for the most part, I made a to-do list. For these with the arrow, it was like, I didn't make a to-do list that night, but I did it first thing in the morning. So I tried to stay somewhat consistent with that. I think I can get that in July as well. I've been really good about prepping for bed. That was something that I really wanted to do, was to start a steady nighttime routine, and it just wasn't happening. But I feel like I've finally gotten that down pretty well. I've got a few things set that I do every night. So I have water pitchers around my house just to make sure that I drink a lot of water. My roommate drinks a lot of water, and so it's kind of my job to, at night before bed, I make sure all the water pitchers are full so we're ready for, having water the next day, and lay my clothes out. If I need to shower, I'll shower, and just kind of get everything a little bit picked up before the next day. And I've been pretty good on that. One thing I've been trying to do since the beginning of the year is start meal tracking, I haven't been dieting per se, but I've been trying to just get in the habit of meal tracking because I want to do a bodybuilding competition at some point. And when it gets closer to that, meal tracking is going to be something that I think will be important. And so I just want to start getting in the habit of tracking so that when it does get more serious, I'll already have like time dedicated to that. And I'll already be like familiar with the app, and it'll just be easier. And so I didn't really do it at the beginning of the month, but I really started doing it like 2 weeks ago. And I also started fasting. And so I started doing alternate day fasting just because around this time I just had a day that I just felt like I just needed to not purge myself by any means, but I felt like I'm not hungry. I feel like I just need to drink a lot of water and just kind of, try to reset my diet and everything. And so I ended up fasting one day, and then I was like, well, why don't I just try alternate day fasting? I've done fasting before. I would do like 1 or 2 days in a row. I think at the most I got up to like 3 days, and then I would kind of do intermittent fasting, but I wasn't really very, what do you call it? Just not very consistent with it. And actually, I've been doing the alternate day fasting for 2 weeks, and I really, really like it. Especially last week, I actually really liked it because I was so busy, and on my fast days, it just kind of took the thought of food out of my mind. I didn't even have to think about what am I gonna eat? Is the food good or bad for me? Am I gonna eat? Is it gonna make me tired? I was just going into the day knowing that I wasn't gonna eat, just kind of took that completely out of my mind. And so I really like it, and I'm gonna try to keep doing it for the next month and just see how it goes. I've also lost about roughly 4 pounds doing it for 2 weeks, and I don't feel like it's been in an unhealthy way. 4 pounds is kind of a lot for 2 weeks, but it's also not crazy. So I'm gonna keep doing that and fast for the next month. I was trying to keep track of social media because I noticed that there was some days out of the month that I felt really, really sucked into social media. But it wasn't all the time. It's not like I'm every day glued to my phone or anything, but I did know it was particularly would come up on some days. And so I kind of tried to track it. I don't know if I put it on my next one. No, it just wasn't really something that I feel like I needed to track this next month. So I'm not going to track it, but maybe in the future again if it comes up. But I am going to try to be conscious of my social media use, but it's just not going to be something that I'm going to keep tracking. Same thing with shopping. I had noticed that there were certain times of the month that I felt like it was weird. Even though I didn't need anything, I just would feel this strong urge to I want to buy something. And I would find myself just getting online, looking for things to buy. But it actually really wasn't that bad this month. These are Walmart, Sam's. I did order this day. I think I felt specifically there was something I'd been looking at buying, and I finally caved on that day and just bought it. But I don't think I'm going to be tracking that anymore. I have this one that's called Brain Fog, and I haven't had brain fog in quite a while. Even these days, I feel like it wasn't that bad. It wasn't noticeably as bad as I remember it being in the past. So I'm not sure what's up with that, why that's kind of gone away for me. But I think I did yeah, I did keep for next month, I kept a row for that. But I think what I've done here, like, I just kind of wrote like no focus, no focus. It wasn't those days, it wasn't like brain fog. It wasn't like my I was like tired and just feeling out of it. It was just my brain was actually moving almost too fast on those days. Like it felt like there was too much going on in my brain and I couldn't focus. So I'm going to use that column to maybe make notes about like just differences that I'm feeling in my brain and how I'm focusing. I went ahead and kept this one because I'm trying to figure out like what days I get more emotional and try to figure out, because I'm not super emotional, but like, man, last year, I don't know if it was just the stress and anxiety, but I never used to cry very much as a kid, or I felt like actually like kind of proud of myself, like, oh, I'm a girl and I don't ever cry. I'm not like one of those girls that just is emotional all the time. But man, the last 2 years, it was just, I felt myself getting anxious and emotional quite a bit. So it's just something I started tracking, and the last 2 months has not actually been that bad. So like I have one here, but it was like a happy cry. I think I watched something that made me tear up, but it wasn't anything like bad. And then I did have like an actual cry on this day, but this was more like work related, and I was kind of stressed and I just kind of broke down crying. Lasted about an hour, and then I just kind of talked things through with my roommate, like what was stressing me, and and then kind of like settled down after that, got back to work, and everything was good. So yeah, I went ahead and kept that just to see if anything comes up this next month. I don't know why I'm tracking my showers, but I'm going to keep tracking it just to see. I think why I'm tracking my showering is because when I was younger, well, up until like a couple of years ago, maybe a year or two ago, I was one of those people, a type of person that I felt like I had to shower every single day. Before I was going to go out somewhere, if I hadn't showered that day, I had to shower. I felt like for some reason, I'm like, I can't be seen in public if I haven't showered. People are going to know I haven't showered and think that I'm so disgusting. But I don't know, maybe it is gross if you shower every day and you think like, oh my God, you don't shower every day. But I don't know, since I've started working from home, I just don't feel like I need to every day. The only thing, like honestly, I don't get smelly and I have a bidet, so I feel like I'm cleaning myself every day. I put on new clothes. But the only thing that's my tell really bad is my hair. My hair gets kind of oily, so I have to shower like every 2 or 3 days just to wash my hair. But yeah, I think that's why I'm tracking it, because it's so weird to me that I'm not showering every day, but I'm also not being like OCD about it anymore. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just kept track of when I showered, and I'm going to keep doing that because I want to. I don't know. And then I kind of on days that like random things came up, I would try to make notes up here. There was like a week where I was having some random like aches and pains, which is weird for me because I don't ever have any pains or anything. So when I have them, they're very noticeable to me. And it kind of started with like my right thigh hurting noticeably, and then I feel like for about a week, it was like the pain was just kind of moving, and I was freaking out a little bit. Like I didn't want to over freak out, but I was like, what does a blood clot feel like? Like I don't know, but it went away. So, but yeah, there was like a week over here that like I was getting a little bit worried that something was wrong, but whatever it wasn't like that bad. It wasn't debilitating, but just any pain for me, like I'm like, what is that? But it went away, so that's fine. And then I did end up having, I noted when I had like anxiety, there were some days that I felt like overly creative. Like I didn't want to focus on work. I just had all these ideas going, and I just, was feeling really creative, but it was also a little bit hard to focus during that time. I had this day, I wrote insecure. I guess I was feeling kind of insecure. I noted these days, like, I didn't want to work out specifically. And then anxious on these days, but I was also really busy with work. So yeah, there's my tracker for June. Not perfect by any means, but I feel like I'm definitely making some progress over where I was in January. So my plan for July, so I mean, it already got a little bit out of whack because normally I will like reset this at the end of the month. So really, like at the end of June, I should have like, I would have liked to already have this like started to get set up so that July 1st I've already got this going, but that didn't happen because I was just really busy with work. And then we had like 4th of July stuff, and so, but I've got it done today and I'm off work for 4th of July, so this was kind of a perfect day to do it. But yeah, I just kind of reset. I looked back at this other one and was like, what did I like tracking? What didn't really work? And I kind of reset and reorganized a few things. So yeah, still getting up at 5 a.m., still gonna walk the 1 hour. And I moved this to study for 30 minutes, where I did have study for 1 hour. I changed it to study for 30 minutes and I put it right after the walking thing because I normally will do my studying while I'm at the gym. 30 minutes is long enough for me to read like one article. Sometimes I'll go a little bit longer than that, but that also gives me a little bit of leeway if I do want to like get on social media, scroll through all the TikToks that my sister has sent me so I can get kind of caught up on that stuff. And then yeah, still feel like I'm being productive and getting something done while I'm at the gym. And then I've got my workout, my journaling, and yeah, I didn't do any of that on 4th of July, but you know, it was the 2nd of July on a Saturday when we had like the cookout and everything. But I've stayed consistent with it since then. And then, you know, whenever work starts back tomorrow, so what I want to do is for the rest of this month, have these blocked out in orange. So I want to start work by 8 a.m., work or study for 8 hours, one of the two, you know, throughout the day. And then I want to make sure I do my to-do list, get ready for bed. I'm going to mark the days that I fast and the days that I don't. I want to keep up with the meal tracking. I actually don't know if I'll keep up with this, but I do want to start planning out my meals, because for right now, I've just been tracking my meals and fasting, but I haven't been really like planning on what foods that I'm eating. I haven't been like making sure that I've got nutritious foods or that I'm hitting certain calorie goals or anything like that. And I kind of want to start doing that, but I'm not sure. But I've got it on here to try to like plan my meals for the next day somewhat, on the days that I am going to eat. And then I've got the brain fog. Oh, I put a separate one in for anxiety. So yeah, I guess I'll track those. I may replace these with something, but we'll just see. We'll see how it goes. I've got the emotional and the shower. So we will see how next month goes. But I don't know. May was pretty off, I think. June felt kind of off, but not too bad. I actually got a lot of work stuff done in June. I had 2 conferences that I presented at. I wanted to finish this one paper. I did finish one paper for the conference. This other paper, I mean, we've been trying to finish this for like a year. But I'm finally close to finishing that paper. That's one of like my goals to do for this month, is to get that paper finished, out of the way, off my plate. But yeah, like June felt a little bit off, but I feel like I'm coming back now, getting on track to hopefully get a lot of stuff done in July. And I've got a class that I'm taking, so I want to stay caught up with that class, and hopefully by the end of July, just be in a really, really good place to just relax a little bit, for a couple of weeks between my one class and my other class. I'll still have work to do, but I just want to really set myself up good to just not be stressed. And I'm going to take a trip to LA in August to see my sister, and I want to really be able to enjoy my vacation, because honestly, it's been like years since I've like really enjoyed an actual vacation. And so I did take a little weekend trip, I think back in April or March. Yeah, I took one for spring break and then one for Memorial Day, where I could just kind of, and for those like 3 days, I just turned off my brain to everything stress. And so, but this time I want to have like an actual vacation, enjoy my time with my sister, and not have to worry about anything. So hopefully I can get myself set up in July, stay productive, and get to a point to where I feel like I can just drop everything and just take off, you know? So that's the plan. I've also started doing like making just some goals to kind of stick to, and they kind of go along with this, but then there's kind of some more specific like goals that I want to hit throughout the month. So again, I've got the start work by 8, work 8 hours a day, finish that one paper. I'm taking this online thing, but I should be able to actually finish that today. Stay ahead in my class, finish these reports I have for work, finish a presentation I have to do, track my meals, stick to my diet, stick to my daily workouts. I want to work on kind of decluttering and organizing my house, because I'm living in my grandparents' old house that I inherited, and I've been slowly trying to like remodel the place and get it organized and everything. So that's one thing that I want to work on. And then, yeah, I've just got like a plan of what I want to do every week for work, because kind of like working from home has been a little bit hard to stay organized and stay on track with things. So I've at least got a plan throughout the month of things that I want to work on every week. And then, yeah, I've also got a plan, like a list of things I want to do throughout the house to get it kind of organized. And so, yeah, I feel like I've got some good goals set, and if I can stick to this and knock a bunch of things off, that should put me in pretty good shape for next month. And hopefully by the end of this year, I will finally be in a place where I feel like I have my life pretty well together. So that's my update for June and my plans for July. So we will see how this goes.